Hi everybody, welcome back. I really hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to be showing you what I've been growing / propagating over the last 4 or 5 months. I don't think I've actually shown you this part of my shelving unit for quite a while. And as some of you know, I was selling plants over lockdown. I teamed up with Foliage Fanatic and I was selling some rare houseplants, but now I'm back at work doing my cosmetic tattooing. I'm just going to be selling them just a few now and again, but on this shelving unit are some plants that I've kind of been growing or propagating. Some of them will be for sale eventually and some of them are my personal plants. So let's have a look. Got quite a few things under here. Let's start off with this gorgeous strawberry shake. So when I first got this, I can't remember how many months ago, it was quite a while, the variegation was cream and now it is a very vibrant pink, which is really, really cool. Unfortunately, the nicest leaf, which had the most variegation, just dropped off, but it's still looking very beautiful and I can see another growth point there. And this one I'm keeping for myself, although I do have somebody that is after it if I do decide to sell it. But I think I'm going to keep it because it's very pretty and they're quite hard to get hold of now. Next to this one I've got a really cute little Anthurium hybrid. It's a CRYSTALLINUM hybrid, very, very cute. Behind we have my variegated Monstera, which I finally got the courage to chop it up because it was very leggy. So it was like a really, really long stem with the leaves on the top, so I decided to chop it up. So I've got this piece rooting in water here, and then I've got one piece on the shelving unit, a part of the stem, and then the actual stem with the roots downstairs, which is still potted in soil. But it's really beautiful. Really lovely variegation on this one. So it started producing, as you can see there, one of the aerial roots has started growing, so it looks like it's gonna root from that. Can take quite some time. Here I've got a collection of white knights, all rooting in moss. This one was my own personal one, and I don't know what happened, because I've had it quite a while. I noticed that the leaves started to get a bit smaller and the old leaves were yellowing quite quickly. And then I realised that it actually was rotting. I'm not sure why, because I don't overwater my plants and I just haven't got a clue. It actually did have quite a good root system. So I gave it a chop and now I'm rerooting it in some moss along with these other ones that turned up a few months ago and they weren't in the best of shape. So I'm going to grow them on. Here we've got some teeny tiny pink princesses that were cut from my larger plant. Been growing these for quite a few months. They don't have mega variegation on them at the moment, but we'll see what happens. They're super cute. Here we've got some string of hearts. There's the normal version and then I've got a variegated version mixed in with it. Some of my friends would like some cuttings from the variegated one, so I actually need to give mine another trim and then I'll propagate those. I always have good success propagating them in water and then I just pop them back into the soil afterwards. They seem to root really easily in water. Here's my Monstera stem, variegated Monstera. Not really doing a lot yet, but we'll see. It's only been about maybe 2 or 3 weeks, so I'm not expecting any miracles. Got some Photonia here and some of my jewel orchid cuttings. And these are all quite well rooted now. I've been rooting all these for quite a while. Look at those roots, wow. Yes, they definitely need potting up. I might put them back in the terrarium actually. Amazing pattern on the leaves, so beautiful. And the Photonia, very eye-catching. Wow, that one's really bright. behind, we've got an EPIPREMNUM, PINNATUM, VARIEGATA, tongue twister. And these are very well rooted now as well, so they could do with being potted up. Over in the corner, this stick is actually an Aglaonema PICTUM tricolor. Beautiful, isn't it? So when I received this quite a few months ago, it threw a bit of a fit and all the leaves fell off, and to be honest, I thought it was dead, but I thought I'd give it a chance, so I've been rooting it in water, although it hasn't really produced any roots, which is a bit strange because it's got this new growth point on it. I'll show you my other one that I've been rooting, because that one has produced a good roots. Got a Soderoy there. Here we've got a beautiful Pallidiflorum. So since I've been growing this one, it has produced 2 new leaves, this being one of them. I love the sheen on the leaves, so beautiful. And then this is the newest leaf here, which is still hardening off. It feels a bit floppy. But that's going to be a nice long one. Really beautiful. So that will be ready for sale soon. So I think that's everything on the top shelf that I'm growing. So all these plants are growing under one of my Spider Farmer grow lights. This is the SF1000 model. You can get them in different sizes, and I will link them in the description box below. And they're also dimmable. As you can see, I don't even have them on half the brightness, which is quite crazy because they're so bright. Let me try and turn it up and show you how bright it does go. It's very, very bright. So maybe in the winter I might crank that up a little bit, but for now, because we're still kind of at the end of the summer, we don't need it super bright. So I'm mainly growing philodendrons on this top shelf, and then if we take a look at the bottom shelf, it's mostly anthuriums because they don't want quite as much light as the philodendrons. Oh, and my Aglaonema PICTUM tricolor. This is the other one that I've been growing. This one I'm going to be keeping for myself. I do have another one downstairs, but the variegation on it is nowhere near as beautiful as this one. This is a really nice one. I have been growing this for months and months, and it has produced 2 new leaves since I have had it. And let's have a look at the roots. It literally had no roots when I first got it, so it's got some good old roots now. That'll be ready to pot up very soon, but it does seem quite happy in the water, so might leave it in there for a bit longer. We've got some Magnificum hybrids on the end here. This one with the huge leaf, let me come round. This one is actually reserved for somebody. This leaf is massive. But again, I've been growing it for a while because I wasn't happy with how many roots it had. I wanted it to have a good root system before I send it out to anybody. And it has actually produced a new leaf. This is the new leaf here, which is growing really quickly. I swear every time I look at it, it looks bigger each time. They grow so fast. And we've got another behind there, which has just got a new leaf. Some more CRYSTALLINUM hybrids there. We've got a Villaneorum. Hope that's how you pronounce it. It's a nice one. Some more Anthuriums at the back. Got this sad looking Queen Anthurium here, but I've got a new leaf coming, so hopefully that'll be lovely. At the back I've got some cuttings that I took off my melanochrysum. Got another melanochrysum there. It has got a new leaf on the way. And then again we've got more EPIPREMNUM, PINNATUM. Look at the roots on those. And then here I've got a variegated ZZ plant. It's quite cool. But again, I'm growing that for a bit just so that it's got a good root system. So yes, eventually some of these plants will be available for sale, but some of them are for my own personal collection. As I mentioned, I did team up with Foliage Fanatic and I was selling plants over lockdown. I will attach his details below because he's actually selling plants full time now and he's got a new premises. He's doing really well. I'm really happy for him. So yeah, I'll attach his details below for you. So if you are looking for some rare plants, he's your man. Some of these plants are actually growing in a soil mix and then I've just kind of dressed the top with some moss. And others are simply growing in moss just because it's easier to ship the plants out in moss and they seem to grow quite quickly in the moss as well. So if you are growing plants in moss short term, make sure you're just keeping it slightly moist and not soggy. If your moss gets too soggy, it's going to cause root rot. I wouldn't recommend growing plants in moss long term. It doesn't provide any nutritional benefits, so they definitely need to be potted up eventually in some kind of soil mix. But short term, it's quite good for rooting plants, although I do really like water propagation as well for some plants. Regarding water propagation, I change the water at least once a week, keep it nice and fresh, and I use filtered room temperature water. You don't want to use cold water because that will probably shock the roots. Also, I forgot to mention before I was growing any of these plants down on this part of the shelving unit, I had all my caladiums under there. So I had my red flash, I had this strawberry star, a Florida moonlight, a Fanny Munson, a frog in a blender. So this is the only one that I've kept up here. He's kind of poking out a little bit towards the grow light there. But the others are downstairs in the living room and then I've got a couple outside in my garden. But it's going to be time soon for the caladiums to go dormant. I will soon be making a video on how to overwinter your caladiums. Keep an eye out for that. Well, that's about it for my shelving unit. I really hope you enjoyed the little tour. If you've got any questions, please ask. And take care everyone, and I'll see you all soon. Bye everyone.